Why? Why did she ask you where your tall friend was when obviously you can look around and see him? That's the question. Why? Because she wants someone to tell him that she liked him.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
And she knew that you were friends with him.
Mm-hmm.
So she wanted you to tell him that she liked him so that he would come over and talk.
Right.
That's what she wanted. Now you know why.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. It's a very thinly veiled lie, you know? It's like, obviously, that's what's going on there. But when you start to see this, okay, cool, just do it, you know? It's like you're a little puppet master, you know? Like, all right, let me just see this show happen. You want to be entertained? All right. Let's get the tallest guy in the room and a girl who's really nervous to talk to him and put them together and watch what happens, you know? And watch what happens, really. It could be very fun to watch, you know? This is like the whole world's your playground, you know? And this is, just have a good time with it, you know? Anyway, awesome. Good job.
Yeah, after all, thanks.
Christian, what was the biggest sort of, the thing you missed was a question. What was the biggest revelation you had, like realization you had last night?
I need a baseball bat.
Okay. For all your crap in your mind or for what?
For my ego.
Yeah, that's how it
This
is.
is a mean motherfucker.
Yes, it is. It's a son of a
I
bitch.
think it's probably because I built him up. And
Yeah, of course you
I'm
did.
kind of proud of him.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
worked really hard to like get the results I have gotten.
Yeah.
And so, well, I developed approach anxiety like a couple of years ago because I didn't used to have it at all.
Uh-huh.
And I developed it, and so I got into my mind a lot. So I was just trying to push myself to like talk to anyone, do anything.
Right.
But then I just figured out that when I like gave someone a compliment, instead of looking into their eyes to kind of gauge their reaction,
Mm-hmm.
I just give them the compliment and then turn away,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of miss the whole
Reaction.
learning experience from what I actually did.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's a combination of running away because you're afraid of the reaction,
Right.
and the fact that I used to have like bad eyesight, so I couldn't see people's
okay.
eyes, so I never really learned to read eyes.
Oh, okay.
When you can't see them, it's like
Yeah. What's the point of
why,
reading
why
them?
look for something you can't see? It's like
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I just have to like work on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Gauge the reaction and start to, like David said, we talked a lot about it when he came home. Dude, just watch.
Yeah.
And see like the light twisting around. It's like there,
Yeah.
and you can pick it apart. It's fun. And
It's so fun.
well, okay, maybe I ran a little away and just, but I ran
Yeah.
around and talked to a lot of people, and
Yeah.
I went outside and I found 4 British chicks and just sat down and dominated everyone and was the center of attention and had fun and played FMK and
Uh-huh.
just, yeah, whatever.
This is fucking ridiculous. I'm like, this is. I've never had a boot camp where I went around and pretty much everybody had the same realization, you know, like where you can start to see everything. But I've never taught this either, start to finish through boot camp. You know what I mean? I've never been like, I've never come out and said it. You know why I never came out and said it? Because I was like, nah, people aren't ready to hear this, you know? Like, you didn't come here for this.
Now it's really hard for me at first. Yesterday when we were walking to eat, you could see it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I know.
really conflicted.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You know, I was thinking about that afterwards, and I wanted to tell you something about it. Just kind of the thing that I didn't say to you in the moment, because I saw in that moment that what you needed to hear was just, I just needed to basically let you go through your shit, you know. So I did. I was like, well, you're right that one of them is not going to be able to survive this process, you know. One of those beliefs is not going to be able to survive this process because you have 2 conflicting beliefs, you know. Something you used to believe and something that you're currently understanding is true. And so one of them is going to lose. But what I really think, honestly, is that just take whatever makes sense from everything, you know. You don't have to identify as one thing. Don't ever identify as anything, really. I mean, that's the first problem, really. You start to identify as something like, I'm a brother, I'm a coworker, I'm whatever the fuck it is in your head, the roles you play, those are the things that confine you. Don't do those. Don't believe in those things, you know. So just don't call yourself anything, you know. You're fine as long as you don't call yourself anything. Then beyond that, just take whatever makes sense to you, man, you know. If it doesn't make sense, just don't take that part. There's plenty of things, there are plenty of things that you know already in your head that as you go back and revisit those lessons that you remember that are familiar to you that you've heard 1,000 times that didn't make sense until now. Now they're going to make sense, and you're going to understand that everything's saying the same thing. And then there's part of your old beliefs that you're going to have to let go because you're going to realize they don't make any sense now. They never made any sense, but you can clearly see that there's fear wrapped around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's my realization at dinner. I was like, oh, it was painful.
It's so
And then it was like,
painful.
Fuck it, I don't want to be afraid anymore.
Yeah.
And if I believe something because I'm afraid of what might happen, well, fuck that.
Yeah. Awesome.
I
was thinking.
trying to manipulate you a little bit to beat on my ego. So.
Well, you don't even have to manipulate me. You can just ask me. But if you want to try, you can. If you want to challenge, you can do it. But awesome, man. I'm glad that you kept that thought going because I thought about you last night a few times too, and I was like, I wonder if I'm going to get the chance to talk to him about this later. You know, to say the thing that I wanted to say, because you could have come back today. It could have been anything, dude. That was the crucial moment for you. You know, the moment whenever you're realizing that you're taking the new things you're learning and you're going, but wait a second, what about my whole fucking life? That's when you do that, you're like, whoa, everything I look at over here is fucking a lie. Ah, fuck. You know?
I visited that pain like 5 or 6 times since then.
Yeah.
And kind of run a little bit.
Yeah.
Go back and visit it again and poke at it. And I figured if I keep poking, something's got to burst.
It will, for sure. And it's okay for you to run away for a second too. It's okay for you to go, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to see that right now. And then, because you won't stop thinking about it. You know? You'll run away and you'll go, what the fuck was that? And you know you have to go back. Of course. Anytime you run away from something, you know you have to go back. That's the whole point. That's how you can tell. So you'll get a fear, you'll stop, you'll understand the fear. Don't do it for too long. You start to understand the fear too much, then you'll get wrapped up in it. You won't even experience it. You'll just be so frightened that you'll have to have some kind of other way out, you know? But I don't think it's going to happen to you. I think that you're seeing that. I think you're seeing it. You're seeing the truth now. And everything that's not the truth is going to be so annoying to you. Like, everything is going to annoy the shit out of you. That's not the truth. And for a while, you're going to see everything in your life as being false, you know? Probably, especially when you go back. Can you imagine? You know? Does everyone here have an apartment? Like, does anyone not have a place to live? Just me. I'm the only person who has a place to live, you know? You're going back to a world that you created out of a lie after this, you know? The whole world is. And everyone there expects you to live back into the lie again. It's going to be fucking wicked. It's going to be a moment of decision for you, you know? But that's your decision to make, not mine.
But
Yep.
I have a question about how can I kind of, when I'm out trying this, how can I, like, is there a trick to remind myself, hey, where am I now? What's going on? Where in the system am I at?
Yeah. So you usually go out at nighttime probably, right? After, let's say, 10 p.m. So between the hours of 10 p.m. and midnight, right? Set an alarm on certain days, maybe just the weekends, that every 20 minutes your phone buzzes in your pocket and you pick it up and it's got a question. That's how you do it, you know? You just set a series of alarms that go off that remind you shit at a certain time. Because there's no other, I mean, there's ways to do it. I used to write something down in my pocket, and then, because I'd always go in my pocket for something at some point in the evening, and then I'd feel the note, and then I'd open it up and I'd read it and I'd put it back, you know? But if you have an alarm on your phone, it's way easier. The iPhones didn't exist when I first started doing this, so I was like, you know, using the alarm on my phone was not even a thought that crossed my mind. But I had a phone that had an alarm on it that I could have used, I just didn't even think about it. So all you have to do is write a note, whatever the thing you want to remember, whatever it is, you write a note in your phone and set the alarm to do it. Or if you don't want to do that, or in addition to doing that, write it and put it as your background on your phone, write it and put it as your background on your computer, and write it and fold it up and put it in your wallet, and also write it down and fold it up and put it in your pocket. Put it everywhere so that there's just bombs everywhere. Put it like above your toilet so when you're taking a piss you see it, you know? Just get a bunch of Post-it notes, you know? Just use them everywhere. Remind yourself. You have to remind yourself in the outside world, you know? And the question you might have could be, what stage am I in right now? Could be a question you ask while you're out, you know? And then, you know, while you're at home, you could ask yourself other questions. Like, what do you actually know is true? That kind of question, you know? The things that you, as you go through your notes or as you remember this or talk about this stuff, you'll have these questions in your mind, you know? The questions you need to remind yourself to ask so that you don't fall asleep again. You know what I mean? Because that's what it's all about. It's all about staying awake. You know what I mean? And facing your fears. Because as soon as you start running away from your fears, you fall back asleep again. Because the only way to run away from your fears is to sleep. That's the only way. You know? And I understand that. That desire, it's like, come on, man. I totally get that.
Oh, I love running.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for many years.
Yeah, you get good at it, you know? The thing is that it becomes its own sport. Who can run away from their fears faster, you know? Or better. And it's like the most celebrated sport in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
You know?
I have a laptop by my computer just playing things until I pass out.
Yeah,
I
Brad.
never have to.
Brad used to do the same thing. He used to watch TV every evening. He couldn't go to sleep unless the TV was on. You know?
Just because then it's no quiet, it's no alone time. I don't have to deal with the hate for the lies.
Yeah.
Or the punishing yourself because you didn't perform the way you think you should have.
Right. Brad was, and really, by the way, the way this all came about for Brad was that he had that moment of realizing that that he actually is alone. That's what that's afraid of. That's what you're afraid of. When you go to sleep at night and you close your eyes and you see the nothingness there, that's the scary part, you know. But it's really not that scary. I think it's very nice actually, because it's real. It's reality. Do you remember the thing I said yesterday? I'm alone in the dark forever with nothing to do. That's what the fear is. This entire world is basically built around that fear. And if you can sit with that, not be afraid of it, just be like, okay, you're alone. All right, let's take that part first. There's no one else here but you. You're alone. All right, just like when you go to sleep, you're the only one there, right? You go to sleep.
I think I actually woke up for like a minute when I was 7.
Oh, really?
I remember walking home,
Uh-huh.
and then suddenly it dawned on me, I'm me, just floating around in this nothingness inside, a shell looking out.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, the universe made sense for like a minute,
Yeah.
walking home. Wow.
Crazy, huh?
And I was like, I'm me. I just looked around
And you're in awe. Like,
Yeah,
holy crap.
I remember it so vividly. I've told people about it
Yep.
for the years, like my mentors and people who have meant things to me, and a couple of them was the smart people. Were like, that's so awesome to realize when you're 7. Cool. I just figured it out.
Well, this is amazing because you're seeing, how old are you now?
27.
27, so 20 years ago. You're seeing a 20-year-long synchronicity, a moment in your life that has been waiting to happen for 20 years. From the moment you realized this and then you ran away from fear because of fear, there's fear there. Because you started to wonder, what does this mean? That was the beginning of you probably being afraid, right? I'm alone, shit. I don't want to be alone, I'm unsafe. All the things that you had in your mind when you were 7, the scary parts, you know? 20 years have gone by for you to realize this again, basically. You had to go on a journey and come back. Now you're back, you know? But now the rest of your journey is not going to sleep again, you know? You understand what it's like to be asleep. Your journey's a lot like mine. Like, you just wanted to show yourself that you could do it. And you did. The end, right? You can let it go now. And now it's the process of undoing all those lies. That's the hard part, really, is facing all your fears. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fears that you built up to keep yourself going on this path to prove to yourself that you could do it, okay? So you go through, you destroy all those, you know, by surrendering to them, really. Like sitting in them and going, like you did yesterday. You know? Okay, I might be believing something that's a lie. Fuck. And my whole life is built around this. Okay. You know, what does that mean? Like, you got to sit with yourself and go, okay, it's a lie. Then just, if you have to cry, fucking cry, you know? If you do, you do. Let it out. If you don't cry, then you're afraid of crying. Then you have another fear you're running away from, you know? You just let it go. And when you let it go, it goes away. And then you clean your life up, you know? You don't go keep doing the same shit that you were doing before. All the stuff that you used to do, you go, hey, I don't care what I lose because of this, but I can't do that anymore. That's just not who I am. Just like everyone, I'm like I said, I run a pretty big company. It's clear to me that I can't keep doing what I was doing, which is like walking into the office and sitting down and like thinking about shit and trying to get work done. That's clearly not what I'm here to do, So what does that mean? I don't know. But it means that my involvement in my business is going to change when I get back, It's already changed, already. I don't know what it'll mean, but I don't even care because it doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. That was all part of the old thought process. I think that the company will still stay together, though. I have a feeling that we made it a funnel through which people can wake up, So I have a feeling that it will consistently stay, and that it will evolve into something bigger than it is now, bigger than it is right now, and it's already really big. But it will really have very little to do with me, I think. I think that it'll have something to do with everyone around me. Because I think that people will want to come through this process and wake up on the other side. You know what I mean? I think.
So just build Fight Club.
Kind of.
Fuck Club, if you want.
Yeah, fuckclub.com. But yeah, kind of, Like, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know what it's about, but it's definitely about waking up for me, And it seems to be about that way for Brad and Connor. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing, Clearly, Brad, from what you experienced yesterday. Clearly, that's how it is for Brad. Connor, I'm guessing the same for you. We haven't talked about it too much, though. But there we go. Well, then I guess it is. Because that's what it sounds like.
Just like the movie script, you said yourself, you just woke up, started to figure shit out. You built a big company.
Yeah, well, while I was asleep, while I was asleep, like you had that moment when you were 7, and then you went into the sleep state, and you sat there knowing that that was the truth in the beginning, and you're able to kind of do things. And then eventually you forget that you're just pretending, and then all of a sudden, then you get lost again, right? But I had that moment when I was a little bit older, maybe when I was younger too, but when I was about 20 or 19 years old, I had that major wake-up moment, and then I went in and I moved things around. Hey, man, welcome. We saved you your favorite seat, the hardest seat to get to. Cool. So anyway, so the point I was making, I guess, at the end of all this is that when I woke up and then I kind of went back to sort of believing the lie again, or at least I honestly couldn't handle the truth. The truth was too much for me. It was like it scared me. It didn't scare me up until the point when I realized I was really alone, like for real, not like I was. It was kind of coming to me in layers where I was like, I'm alone. Yay, that's awesome. Like I don't have to worry about doing anything. Then I was like, I'm alone. Wait a second. I'm really alone? Like no one is here? Even if I meet people and they're here and I talk to them, it's like they can't be something for me, Like I can't count on anybody in my life. That was a really scary thing for me. So I was like, but everyone in society says that you need to count on each other. That's how we keep you here, Otherwise you'd be off doing whatever the fuck you wanted to do, And so I was like, but I can't do that, so I need to leave. And I had this moment where I had to decide if I was going to leave or not, And I decided to stay because I was afraid of death, basically, of aloneness, of falling out of existence. I was afraid of not living forever, like not having my ideas live on forever or something, and like be remembered. But at the end of the day, the sun at some point will swallow the earth, and every artifact of human history is gone when that happens, except the radio waves that are beaming out in outer space that may be picked up at some point and then will disappear, in the future, maybe. But eventually, what most likely will happen is either the universe will keep expanding and planets and suns will get so far away from each other that the heat won't be there anymore, and then life as we know it will cease to exist because everything will be frozen. Or you'll have what's called the Big Crunch, which is the opposite of the Big Bang, where everything goes back into a singular point. So regardless of what happens, you're not going to be remembered. No one's going to remember you. No one will be here to remember you. Nothing will be here to remember you, at the end of the day. So, this is it. This is what you got, right here. This one life, it seems. I don't really know, but at the very least, I'm not going to fuck around with it. I'm just going to be honest, That's just kind of how I feel. But I had to kind of get lost for a long time to see that too, That's how I feel. That's just my view. It was really a hope, like kind of Brad was talking about, the hope that maybe somehow I will be remembered, And then you see people in history and you're like, Jesus, he's remembered by everybody, or Muhammad. Like, there are people. There are concepts like God, right, that are remembered by everybody. But when there's no one there to remember anymore, what the fuck happens? Nothing. It just ceases to exist. That's okay. Because really at the end of the day, it's not really about living forever. It's about being okay with dying and disappearing and never having had any meaning to your life in the first place, any purpose to your life. And if you can sit with that, then this whole thing becomes a playground, And it's very fun. And it's like a lucid dream, and it's very, very, very fun, But if you want to believe the lie that I wanted to believe, which is that, that I can live forever somehow, hopefully, maybe, then it becomes a major struggle, and then this whole experience sucks, So I just don't want to believe the lies anymore, that's all, I just want to be here and experiencing it. Whatever, I don't know if there's a reason why I'm here or not. I can't imagine that. I'm not going to understand it if there is one. I'm definitely not going to understand it while I'm here, because there's no way for me to tell. No matter how many crazy dreams I have that tell me otherwise, I'm just going to say the truth. The truth is that I don't fucking know. But I've definitely noticed that something weird is going on, Something very strange is happening here. Some weird coincidences that are too coincidental to be just coincidences. And they seem to be happening in the minds of everybody around me too, not just me. Not just me in my head, where I'm like, whoa, that's weird. Or strange. Like you pick up a Scrabble board and it falls on the ground and then the letters spell out awake or something. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? There's too many, the probability is too low, for that to happen all the time. So something weird is happening. But even if nothing weird was happening, even if it was just nothing that was going on here, I can't go back to sleeping, It's just a nice added bonus that something weird seems to be going on, and I don't know what it is, but there's something. And I see it all the time. Now I do. I couldn't see it before, though, when I was, lying to myself. It wasn't anywhere then. It was as if, I'm sure it was there. It had to be. Looking back, I can kind of tell that there were times in my life when I wrote things off as being just coincidences that are strange. I thought I had to convince myself that it was interesting to me, just a coincidence that whenever I went to go visit Costa Rica, Kelsey happened to have moved there.